Hi, Barry. Thank you for the roses. Okay, I want to make sure we're featured. Hi, Barry. Okay, hi, guys. Hi, Humpty. Okay, you guys, welcome to Save the Date with Travel Babe. How's everybody's date going? Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome to Save the Date with Travel Babe. Today's show, we have a little twist. But before we get started, I want to ask you guys a couple of quick wedding questions to get your opinion on something, right? Okay. Put a 1 in the comment if you've ever been a part of someone's engagement. Like there was a big proposal and you were there for it. Put a 1 in the comments if you're a part of it. Nobody was there for an engagement? What? What is going on? Yes. Okay. Okay. So, has anybody ever been a part of a proposal and the person said no? Has it ever? Has it? I mean, I've seen it on YouTube, but has anyone ever actually been present when the guy gets on one knee and he says, "Will you marry me?" He's all excited, and she's like, "No." Okay. It's not funny because I think it takes a very brave person, to be honest, because sometimes I think in the moment people say yes just because it's like, there's a proposal going on. I'm supposed to say yes. There's tons of people sitting around watching. I don't want to embarrass him. There's tons of reasons why a person may kind of feel nervous about saying no. So if you're just walking in, welcome to Save the Date with Travel Babe, your wedding planner that you want in your life, in your corner for wedding planning, event planning, birthday parties, bachelorette parties, millie parties, you name it. I'm here for you to help you save the date. Okay, so today's show, there's a little twist because not everyone that gets engaged gets married. Listen, I don't make the rules. So let me ask you guys a question. What percentage of weddings do you think there's a proposal and then before the date it's called off? What percentage do you guys think that actually happens? 67%. Wow, Sky. 60%. Wow. So you guys think that 60% of these guys get on one knee, ask the bride to marry them, and before the date they call it off? Wow. Okay, so you guys, we're just hot walking in here. This is a featured show. Thank you guys so much for being here. So I know you guys probably are used to me saying, "Oh my God, hi Skyline, hi Kim Possible. Thank you so much, Tro, for all the honey bears." I know you guys are used to me saying that, right? And I don't want to come off as rude. Like I would probably get super, super excited, like, "Oh my God, it's Chris Casper." But no, I can't do that. It's a feature show, so we have to remain professional and we have to keep it cute. So even if someone sends me a lightning dragon, I'm going to try my best to not freak out because guys know I typically cry when that happens, but that's not going to happen today. So, okay, so we have 2 people that have guessed about the percentage. So I'm going to ask you guys again. If you're just coming in, welcome to Save the Date with Travel Babe. What percentage of weddings do you think there's a proposal and before the date happens, it's called off? We had 2 guesses so far. I had a 67%, a 60%. There's a 50. Any more guesses? Okay, I'll give you guys a hint. You're too high. Your numbers are too high. Go down. 15%. Chris Casper's getting warm. That's a very good guess. Okay, so the actual answer. Oh, wow. B King B with the answer. Yay. It's my number 2 gift of all time knowing the answer. I did give him that answer beforehand. 20% of weddings where there's a save the date resent out do not actually happen. Now, of course, last year with COVID was a little different. So the number for last year was a bit increased. So what percentage of weddings do you guys think were canceled or postponed because of COVID last year? Now this number, now the guesses you guys gave the first time are closer to what it was. So let's, 65, 75. Okay. A little higher, a little higher now, a little higher now. 89, very good guess. 86% of the weddings that were planned for 2020 were canceled or postponed. As a wedding planner, I will tell you guys that COVID and 2020 was the absolute worst year of my professional career. It was devastating because, like, if you add the stresses of a normal wedding for a bride, where they stress about wedding dresses and venues, they're concerned about what flowers to pick, which flowers are in season, all of that. You paid all these deposits, which are typically non-refundable, and all of a sudden, boom, there's COVID. Now, the thing that hurt a lot of brides during COVID was there wasn't a COVID clause because it was the first time we had a pandemic of the sort. So professionals weren't really prepared for something of that magnitude. We have clauses in our contracts that talk about hurricanes and earthquakes and floods and fires, but there was no pandemic clause inside of contracts. So a lot of brides lost a lot of deposit money. They lost a lot of things. So it was a really, really tough year for wedding planning, for brides, for the entire wedding industry. So if you guys are just coming in, welcome to Save the Date with Travel Bae. Today's show, we have a little twist. We're talking to people. Well, you know what? It's very interesting. A lot of us did think the acts of God was incorporated, but trust me, I have a lot of venues in my area that were taking a task because of that, because there were ways to walk around having to refund people based on the pandemic. And you have a lot of event planners who, they work for themselves or small businesses like myself. I just refunded everybody because I didn't need the bad publicity. Like a small business, you got to kind of, keep your people happy. So I just kind of refunded a lot of people just to save face, but it was a huge hit. So save the date can sometimes become cancel the date. So we have two guests on the show today who we're gonna talk to, hear their engagement stories. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I love a good proposal. I've worked with so many grooms over the years on creating the most magical, most memorable proposals ever, and I take it very serious. So if you've ever been engaged in the comments, put a 1. If you've ever experienced an engagement, put a 1 in the comments. Because I know everybody here is not single. There's been some married people. Okay, Caitlin's been proposed to. Caitlin, did you say yes? Oh, Coco Chanel, Kim Possible. Okay. So guys, if you're just walking in, welcome to Save the Date with Travel Bae. I'm going to go ahead and pull in our first guest, and we're going to go ahead and dive in and find out how the proposal happened, hear their love story and everything. But then we broke up. Sometimes things happen. But listen, I'll be honest with you. I would rather, if I felt like things weren't right, I think I would rather call it off than continuing through with the process. Money spent or not, I think I would just say, you know what? Let's just not do this. So that's my opinion. That may not be everyone. So we're going to bring in our first guest, and we have Chris Casper in the house. Calm down, everyone. Calm down. We have Chris Casper. You're like, wait a minute. You mean the guy who makes the announcement every Friday of who's getting top badge? Yeah, that guy. So listen, don't start putting so-and-so for top badge in the comments. We're not going to be paying attention. Just calm down. So, Chris, whenever you're ready, you can take the box and we'll pull you in and get started. Please don't. Yes. I mean, it'd probably be good for comments. So if you want to, it's fine. Oh, wait. Okay. So if you want to go second, Chris, we can take you second because Kim is already in the box. So if you're just coming in, you guys, welcome to Save the Date with Travel Bae. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and bring in Kim. Kim, I'm about to hit you on here. I like to warn people so they're not caught off guard before the camera pops on. Like, oh, wait a minute, wasn't ready.
Hello.
Hi, Kim. How are you, beautiful?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, you guys, if you don't know, this is Kim Possible. So Kim, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself to the people who may not already know about you so they can just kind of learn a little bit about you.
Okay. So my name is Kim. I have been a streamer on the app for a little over a year now. And I'm debuting a show next week called Rewind.
Ooh!
It's a song. Yeah, it's a show that connects songs and memories of people's past. So
Oh,
it's like how it connects people. And then
fun.
there's
So
going to be
what time does your show come on? What day and time?
Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, perfect. And it's called what?
Rewind.
Perfect. Okay, I want to definitely tune in. I have to add you to my list of shows to watch. There's some great shows on this app. Thanks to Chris Casper and his content directing, finding the most perfect content for people. We have so much entertainment. It's overwhelming. Okay, if you're just getting here, welcome to Save the Day with Travel Bay. This is Kim Possible. So, so you've been streaming for over a year. So, if people want to catch you outside of your show, when should they tune in?
Usually it's very sporadic right now because of outside personal life, the world's opening up, but I usually send a blast out, but usually I'm like a morning streamer the most. Like I usually go live in the mornings and very rare in the evenings.
Okay, okay. So tell us. So the show today is a little bit of a twist. I don't actually even know you guys' story. So tell us why you decided to be on the show today. That we're talking about cancel the date. Doesn't necessarily mean there was a wedding planned or there was a bad proposal, bad wedding, or whatever. But we want to know what brings you to the show today.
Okay, so I had a proposal happen and there was supposed to be a wedding and then there was no wedding, so yeah.
Okay. So how long were you in the person dating?
Well, we first met in college in probably in like 2013,
Okay.
and it was like at first like he was very aggressive towards me. Like he started calling me his girlfriend before I even was his girlfriend.
Oh, wait a minute.
So, um, so at first I told him like, no, we're not anything. So I pushed him away from me, and then like we talked as friends over the next few years and stuff, and got to know each other. And then I was just like, why don't I give him another chance? Because like I feel like
You
we
down.
didn't. So I feel like we didn't have a proper chance to really get to know each other, and the way he came off at the time, and he even apologized about it. So I was just like, okay, so like let's get to know each other. And
Okay. All right. If you guys are just walking in, welcome to Save the Day with Travel Bay. We're talking about Kim Possible, and she's telling us about her situation. Okay. So you guys were friends for a couple of years, and then he
yeah,
finally wore you down. Okay.
yeah. And so then we went on dates and stuff, and then he proposed to me, and it was just like it was like the most awkward proposal like ever. Like it was just like he didn't even make it like it was a secret. Like he just like kind of just like he just like so we were at the zoo, and he just like went in. He just like went into his book bag, and he was like already down on one knee, and he's just like, I'm just like, what are you doing? And then he just like, will you marry me? And then I'm just like, and I said yes, and then we decided because I had planned that I was going to be moving to Florida to
Mm-hmm.
work for a company down there, and so we were just like, well, why don't we just do like a civil marriage and like have the wedding in like a few months.
Okay.
So we kind of really rushed things there, and
Okay.
so basically, um, how it went is we went to the courthouse, we paid the things, did the paperwork. We were supposed to. Um, my family was okay with it, but his family was not okay with it.
Oh, so had you guys met each other's families prior to this?
Oh yes, his
Okay.
mom though just didn't like me at all.
Oh, not the mom. What? Okay.
Like the first time I met her, she was just like, "You're like she said she had some negative concerns about me," and I was just like,
Wait, he had negative concerns, and she talked to you about it?
Well, she just said your hands are very cold, so it feels so. This means so and so. I'm just like, what? I was like, that's really the way to it.
Wow.
I didn't even know how to answer that. I was just like,
oh wow. Okay, so did you guys have any? So who actually came to the courthouse with you? Did you have like a witness?
The courthouse never happened.
Oh, whoa. Okay, whoa. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, so you're moving to Florida, planning to move to Florida. You decide we're going to go to the courthouse, but what happened that you didn't actually get there?
So he got cold feet like the day before, and he was like, "Listen, I don't want this to happen." And then I was like, and we already had like a hotel booked for like a quote unquote honeymoon for after, like we were just and like and stuff, and like so I was just like, listen, the hotel's not refundable, so we're not doing the wedding. We're gonna go have an intervention at the hotel.
We're going to use this hotel. Listen, we're still going to the hotel. Okay. So what did he think about that?
He said, okay, that's fair. That's reasonable. So okay. We went there.
So let me ask you this. Did you think you guys were just kind of postponing at that time? And you guys just want to wait till later? Or what did you think?
Well, I was kind of confused on why he was calling it off, or like getting cold feet. So that's part of the reason why I was just like, let's go to the hotel. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
So we went to the hotel, and he was just like, I do like you, but and then the real stuff happened after I moved to Florida, when he was I was like getting ready. I was like, literally, I moved to Florida, and then I decided I was going to come back home to be with him because I wanted to start a life. And so
at this point, you were really in love with him.
Yeah, I was just like, I want to be committed and stop like hopping back and forth between things.
Right.
And so what happened was, I was literally getting on the airplane to come home. And no, I was actually in the sky. I was using the Wi-Fi in the sky. And he goes and texts me.
Hold on a second. Whoa, Kim Possible. Hold on. Okay, if you guys just coming in, it's getting hot, guys. Welcome to Save the Date with Travel Bae. I don't want you to be confused about what's going on. She's spilling the tea. We're talking with Kim Possible, who's kind of walking us through her having a save the date. The camera was canceled. Okay, so you're in the air. You're using the Wi-Fi, which is kind of expensive, but okay. So
no, it's free. It was free. So he just like sends me this long message, and he's just like, so this is what you did wrong. This is what you did wrong. This, like, he's sending me a list of things that I did wrong and how he wants to break up with me officially. And he was just, and some of those things, it was just like, you needed to communicate with me, and you didn't communicate this stuff at the time. Why are you just telling me now? And it was just like,
wow. So you were actually, had you already, you'd already packed your things to relocate?
I was in Florida coming back home. I decided to quit the job to come back home.
Wow. So he knew that you were thinking about quitting your job. You put your 2 weeks notice in. You packed up your place. He knows all of this prior to this. I'm just making sure that I'm on. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is the guy who wore you down and was calling you his girlfriend from the beginning before you even agreed to be his girlfriend.
Yes.
Excuse you, sir. What's his... Listen, okay, calm down. Okay. So you're in the air. You get this news. So what is your reaction like?
Well, the first thing I did when I got back home was I called the job that I had just quit, and I explained what happened, and I was just like, is there any way I can come back and get my job back? And they were just like, no, you already left. You can't get. I was just
Oh
like,
no,
I was hoping maybe I would get saved, but they're just like, no.
this is horrible. So when you got home, did you guys meet up? Did you have a face to face conversation?
No.
What?
He just literally blocked me on everything, and
Oh my, what? Wow, that is insane. So did you guys have like any mutual friends that you talked to after everything kind of took place?
well, I mean, not really anymore. Like, it was like our mutual friends were people from our college, but some of them, like, kind of didn't really keep in touch anymore, so it was just like, nobody really talked to each other.
And so what year was this again?
This was in 2019.
Oh my, this just happened.
Yeah, like
Wow.
years, like right before the pandemic. Like,
Okay, guys, if you're just coming in, welcome to Stay with Travel Bay. I'm talking with Kim Possible, and I'm not going to lie, my heart is really broken right now. I'm just like, wowzers. There was an episode on Sex in the City where this guy broke up with one of the girls through a text message, and there was this whole debate that happened about the way to break off a relationship or an engagement. Like, you definitely should communicate it. Like, a person deserves a sit down face to face, but I know some people don't like confrontation, but to have you relocate on the plane is kind of drastic.
yeah.
So so once you got home, did you want to start back dating, or like how long did it take you to kind of get to feeling back to yourself?
Well, what happened when I got home is, well, I had to find a new job, obviously. But I was working. I found a job.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that great. It was a seasonal job at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it it was just, I noticed that I was like, you can't really come back so fast after a breakup,
Mm-hmm.
especially post engagement breakup.
Right.
So I realized I was really struggling on the job. So I literally had to tell the job, like, listen, I can't be working here right now. And I literally just had to take time to myself to recover. And then the pandemic happened. So I really took
Right.
time. So,
Wow.
um, that's where
That is
yeah.
so. This is so horrible. So okay, so tell me, what is your ideal now of like what are your views toward dating now? Like, are you open to it?
I'm open to it. I'm also still like um, job hunting, and I'm keeping my my options open, including like
Mm-hmm.
out of state things. So right now, I would like to date, but the thing is, like, I don't know where I'm gonna be, so it's like kind of hard. So I would like to say I'm open to dating, but I need to make sure where I'm situated first before I commit to anything.
Facts. I understand. Wow. So you guys, I mean, you heard it here. Like, every proposal, no matter how awkward it is, does not necessarily end in the actual wedding, because sometimes people get cold feet or whatever. So I guess my thing is, I'm always trying to find the silver lining of situations. And you may not even see one, and that's perfectly fine too. Do you feel like there's any silver lining with the situation?
I mean, it's just the fact that I gave a chance to him again, and I let him in. And because I there's a lot of people out there who are very closed off to just to a lot of people out there who are looking for relationships, and I try
Right.
and give everybody a chance to at least get to know them. And there are people who are just like focused on like physical looks or attraction and don't even want to get to know the person on the inside. And the person on the inside is more important to me than the person on the outside.
Oh, Well, there's a silver lining, you guys. You have an amazing female in the box who is open to dating. And I'm glad that you didn't let one situation like deter you from what I think we all ultimately deserve is a happy relationship situation with someone that respects us and protects our hearts. So I appreciate you for sharing your story. I mean, and the thing is, there are so many people who have similar stories. So that's why I wanted to do a show that was a little different because it's not always, wedding planning is amazing, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So I appreciate you for coming in and being brave enough to share your story. And yeah, wow, I wasn't expecting that. But listen, you got a couple people in the comments that want real intonation. That's sliding her DMs. You guys, make sure you hit Kim Possible with the fave, and definitely check out her stream. So she has a show coming out Wednesdays at 7.
Yes.
Okay, and it is called
Rewind.
Yeah, so you guys make sure to check out her show Wednesdays at 7. It's called Rewind. So if you guys make sure you hit her with the fave. But she definitely has a show, so check her out. Check out her streams if you see her on. But thank you so much for being here, Kim Possible.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so guys, listen. That was an interesting story. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know the story prior to. So I'm just kind of learning the story as you guys learn the story. So if you're just coming in, welcome to Save the Date with Travel Bae. We're talking about sometimes how there's a save the date, but it may not happen. So we have another guest in today that we're going to talk to about their story. So Chris Casper is here. Like I've told you guys already, don't be in here, spam the comments saying Skylight for top badge, Barrio for top badge. This is not the rundown.
It's like the most effective way. Everyone knows if you're going to try and get a top badge, you just hashtag it a million times in the comments, and then, oh my goodness, they got enough hashtags. Top badge.
Right. This person needs a top badge.
How's it going?
So it's going amazing. So for anyone that's under a rock, that you live under a rock for whatever reason, and you don't know who this man is, introduce yourself to those people who may not know you.
My name's Chris. I've been on the app since 2018, and I'm excited to be here.
Chris.
Chris?
So
he moves around a lot. Very squirmy, like a very squirmy person in the box. So that's like my main thing.
That's his thing.
I touch my hair a lot too. It's like So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Let me know what we're gonna do. I know we're talking about weddings and things like that.
Yes. So me and Skylight came up with the idea to have a show that's kind of featured around wedding disasters, like things that have kind of happened or you may have been a part of, some crazy story with the wedding process. And so she didn't share the story with me. So I'm gonna learn it with the rest of the people in the stream about what story you have to share.
Well, normally it's not like the most pertinent thing to bring up, but I have a lot of experience in the wedding industry because I owned a DJing business, an entertainment business, starting in 2015, I think it was 2015. It was officially an LLC. I've done hundreds of weddings, I've done hundreds of events, and I've definitely seen my fair share of things go great and catastrophic. And so it's, I have a laundry list of things that we can talk about. Should we start there? Should we go with just weddings in general?
Yes, I want to hear your go-to. Like if you're at a bar and we're talking weddings, what is your go-to story to like shock the masses?
I've got a lot of them. Okay. I think the one I tell the most often on stream was the first wedding ever that I did, which was on the 4th of July, 2015. I think it was that one, 2015 or 2016, somewhere in there. So I had gotten all of my equipment. Everything was like primo, super top of the line equipment. I had been testing it out, practicing with it, hooking up my setup, taking it apart, putting it back together to make sure that I knew how I could do everything flawlessly. This was also to date the biggest wedding I've ever done. So the first wedding I ever did turned out to be the biggest wedding I ever did. There was, I think, just about 500 people in attendance at this wedding.
Go home. Wow.
It was a big wedding. I knew the people kind of personally. There were people that I saw like again, like multiple times after this. So keep that in mind. So this wedding was at a park. It was an outdoor event, so I had to bring like tons of extension cables to get things powered from. It was like a rec center that was out in the middle of the park. Get it pulled out because they wanted to have this wedding all the way over, you know, in this spot. So I set up all the equipment, get it good to go. You got to remember, there's like over 500 people here, and I give the officiator, I believe she was a priest. Either way, gave her the mic, and she's up there, and she starts talking, and I'm sweating right now. It starts cutting out, and then the mic just starts popping, and then she's just talking. And it's an outdoor event with, like I said, so many people. So it's not like we were all bundled up together where people could hear things just fine. At one moment, like things start cutting off and, you know, people are like doing this. There was a point where the mic just flat out cut. It just gave. And 500 people just all turn and go.
Right.
And let me tell you, I don't normally like say I'm like the most religious person, but I got real religious real fast in that moment. You're doing your prayers. You're sweating. I was dripping. I had a partner, and it was his first time. Like I was like, "Hey, can you help me with the equipment and stuff?" He's like scooting back, moving away, and like there's nowhere I can hide because we're out on this hill, and everyone's looking. And here's this entire groom's party of like, I think they each had like 10, 15 people in their wedding party. They're all looking up at me. The bride's got this face. He's just like, he's looking side to side. And then the worst part is that the mic would come back. It would hit. So like I would like play with the signal. It would hit, it would come back. Then it'd cut back out again. And so everyone was just getting furious. And at one point, they just hand the mic to someone, and someone walks it all the way up to me, looks at me dead in the eyes as they're like handing me the mic. So they're not like looking down to watch like the baton. It's just a solid eye contact. Here's the mic, turn 180, back down. I was sweating profusely. So I have to do another setup. I'm like, oh my God, I got to figure out what's going wrong. Was it the wind? Was it the distance? I tested this thing out at my house by getting everything set up. I ran out my door, ran down the block. I had my door open in my house and was just yelling. So I knew this thing had some distance on it. This is like a $500 mic. Like this is a $500 wireless mic. This like thing should have been flawless. Turns out, well, we do the toasts, right? The toasts too. Mic starts popping, cuts in, cuts out, goes out. And like they rightfully so, were just getting furious. They were so mad. It was my first wedding. Anyway, so I apologize. I ended up giving them like a huge discount. No one danced at the wedding because I was like, okay, we can fix this with the party. Here's something I tell you. Anyone who's planning a wedding, if you want to do like a wedding tips thing, do not plan outdoor events if you want a dance floor. Do not plan other things going on. If you want to have good photos for your photographer, do not set up alternate things where you're like, oh, I want people to stay entertained. You're going to diversify your people too far everywhere. It's going to be really tough, especially at night if you want to have a dance floor. But anyway, there was like 3 people who danced because it was the 4th of July. They had like cornhole, they had a ring toss, they had like fireworks. People are all outside. It was bright out. It was a mess. So anyway, that's always like my default story. To tell you what was wrong, I ended up figuring out what was wrong with the mic. It turned out that there were 2 antennas that you tied onto the back that boosted the signal and made it more reliable and stable. I had set up everything great. All that was the difference between wrecking these people's wedding day versus it being a great wedding day was taking 2 little antennas and going skirt, 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 skirt. Problem solved. That was it. That was all it was.
If you guys are just coming in, welcome to Save the Day with Travel Bae. We're talking with Chris Casper, who is a DJ, and we're talking wedding disasters. We probably could share wedding disaster stories for days. So,
for sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty horrible one, especially for it to be your first.
It was my first. It was definitely a traumatic experience, to say the least. And I've been burned by mics. Like of everything that's ever been bad, the things I've always been burned the most by have been microphones. Like microphones and people not knowing how to speak into them, where to hold them. Because as people start to do their toasts, what they'll do is they'll start here and they let their hand drop and it'll go down.
Right, they start moving it like.
Yep. And the problem
This
is,
was 2015, right? Was this 2015?
that was about 2015 for that first one.
And
Yeah.
someone else asked a good question. Someone said, "Well, did you only have one mic?"
I had a backup mic, but the problem was it was like half a football field away that they were set up. Have I done weddings since? I've done hundreds of weddings. I had weddings where every week I was doing 1 to 2 weddings, because truthfully, and I'm just saying this to say it, I really am a great wedding DJ. And it's because I'm good at commanding a floor and I'm good at commanding the night. If any of you ever get married and you're thinking like, I don't know if I really need a DJ, we'll set up a playlist and have a good speakers. Do not do that, because you need someone to run floor. You need someone to tell you, hey, we're 15 behind on cake cutting. We have first dance scheduled now, but we just got done with all of these things. Do you wanna space it out? There's so many things that when you have a good wedding DJ, ask them questions about their experience with like the floor or what they're gonna do in terms of that.
Yeah, and a lot of things I think I always tell my brides the mistakes you like, the corners you cut in the beginning, you pay for it in the end. So sometimes people think, oh well, I don't have to have a wedding coordinator. It's fine, but it's like someone has to control the time. Like I've worked with this one DJ in my area. He's the most expensive DJ. He charges $4,500 just for the DJ set. Wow. And that's not even including lighting. But he is so good. I don't even have to move during the wedding if I don't want to. He's that amazing. Yeah. He just controls. I mean, so a DJ who knows what he's doing is worth the money, because they even in the dead space, if something awkward happens, they can fix it for you without anyone else knowing it's something awkward going on.
Absolutely.
So that's for sure.
Meet your DJ. Always have a conversation personally with your DJ before, and like get to know them, because you want to get a sense of, are they a mic hog? Are they going to talk over the music? Are they going to be obnoxious? Do they have a weird sense of humor? There's a lot of DJs out there who are just cringe. They are weird. They are gross. This is a wedding that I was not DJing, but I was at a wedding. It took place on a Sunday. It was a dry wedding inside in a church. And the guy who was the DJ was like one of the biggest misogynists I have ever seen work a mic. And there was a point where he had the groom, they did the garter piece. He had the groom get on his knees. He literally, like, I thought it was like a joke, like a rhetorical, like, you're gonna have to get on your knees, you know. He's like, nah, boy, come on now, get on your knees. And so he got the guy get on his knees, and he made him crawl over to the bride to get the garter off. It was just like super, super weird and cringy. And then like when they did the dollar dances, he said, let me see your bucket. And he took all the money from his bucket and stuffed it into hers. And he goes, that's your life now. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Some of those jokes would probably land okay. So you just have to kind of know your.
Yeah, it was just super, super, super cringe. He was getting on the mic, singing the songs, like telling people to get on the floor. One of those people would like pause the song and be like, we don't got enough. We don't got enough. And then it is just, ugh.
Okay, so do you have any wedding? So I know you've probably seen a lot of other vendors at weddings. You're like, oh my God, why did they hire that photographer? Why did they hire this person? So do you have any stories about like other vendors, things that you've witnessed from that were just nightmares for the bride and groom?
I have seen photographers that just were spacing out. They weren't like engaged or aware of what was going on. Like they would just be chilling at the table eating cake or like talking, having food, and like there's clearly things that need to be photographed right now, or like that you should probably be doing, and they're just spaced. But I typically just focused on what I knew I needed to be doing to make sure that they had a good time, right? Because with every wedding that I did, I always did 2 consultations ahead of time. I did initial intake to make sure that they felt like I was going to be the right fit. And then I do a second one the week of to make sure that we had all our T's and I's dotted and anything in between if they ever needed it. so many people put these major expectations on their wedding, and they don't realize how fast the day actually goes and how busy they end up being, where they barely even get to enjoy it. So if you want to be able to enjoy your wedding, assemble a team that you can lean into, that you trust. Get a matron of honor, or a master ceremonies, or a mistress of ceremonies. Get those types of people. Don't try and take it all on yourself. Don't be a control freak. We know it's your big day, but there's a balance between it being your big day and you just not being able to enjoy it. So,
Facts.
I've seen that happen for sure.
I think a lot of times people we live in a world now where it's DIY. Everybody wants to do it yourself, and that sounds cute until you're in the wedding dress and things need to be happening, and you haven't communicated with anyone other than yourself about all these things. So it kind of leaves. Nothing's worse than having a beautiful wedding and ceremony and reception, and it's just chaos everywhere. That's the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you name it. The people, from who you allow to touch that microphone to who gets on the dance floor. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen, but that's what makes weddings memorable. And most of all, it's for you to have fun and to enjoy yourself and celebrate what you have.
Facts. Okay, you guys, if you're just coming in, welcome to Save the Day with Travel Bae. We're talking with Chris Casper, who is a wedding DJ, and we're talking about some of the disasters that he's seen where maybe the wedding wasn't canceled, but it probably should have been canceled. So, do you have any other stories that you want to share with us? Tell us something embarrassing. What he just did, the mic was kind of, oh my God, I would have died. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if this, it isn't embarrassing. So there's two parts to this story. I clarified with the bride 3 times. She said there's going to be 2 setups, because I always make sure is where you're having your reception, the same place that you're having your ceremony. Because some people will hire a DJ for both the ceremony and the reception, but those 2 will be in different locations. So I clarified with her 3 times. I said, so it's in the same location. Yeah, we're having our reception here and the ceremony's here. So I get to the spot. It was like an hour drive out to the lake. So they're having their wedding on the Great Lakes. In case you don't know, the Great Lakes are like the size of the ocean, or they may as well be. So I get out there. It's like an 88, 90 degree day. It's like scalding hot. And I'm like, oh, I'm super pumped that they're doing this inside. It's a beautiful venue. Go inside, and I say, this is where the reception is going to be. And they go, yep. And I go, you've got all the tables set up. Are you going to move them to have it separate for the ceremony? They go, oh, no, this ceremony is there. And they point out the window, and I see that there's a pier, and there's a super long walk all the way to the lighthouse. I'm talking like half a mile to 3/4 of a mile out into the lake. It's a narrow walkway. I have speakers, I've got a mixer, I've got everything. I'm like, what am I gonna do at this yacht club? I'm like, there's no way, how am I gonna get this out there? So I end up hitting up the yacht club manager that's there, and I get a little scooter buggy, and I wheel it all the way out and do like a 3/4 mile walk all the way into this lighthouse. So I'm like, is there even gonna be power at the end of the spot? So I get power on there, figure it out. Here's the problem. We're out on the lake in the middle of an 80-degree day. We have expensive electrical equipment that can overheat. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? I end up stripping down into a t-shirt and shorts. Okay, I stripped down to a t-shirt and like swimming shorts I had like in my car or something. And I'm like dripping sweat. I take the little buggy that I wheeled out to put like all my cart in, I flip it over like a turtle shell, and I put my computer and laptop underneath it. So during this ceremony, I'm laying on the ground in a t-shirt and shorts. This is an embarrassing one actually. And I'm just drenched in sweat because the sun is beating down on us. You're on a lake, right? There's no trees, there's nothing to shield you. And everyone else is sweating because they're in suits. And I had to run electric cable and weave it through the sides of this, I don't know. It was like a pier. It's a pier, I guess. I don't know. I wheel it out there, right? And I just remember thinking the whole time, please don't overheat, please don't overheat, please don't overheat. And I wasn't talking about myself. I was talking about the equipment. because those components are going to be heat sensitive. If they have too much sun on it, they'll turn themselves off. You know, your phone turns off. Same thing happens with a mixer. Same thing can happen with a computer. That one was definitely a mess. And then of course I had to pack everything up, wheel it, super sweaty. So I'm getting back in this venue and I've got like 30 minutes between the ceremony and the reception to break down, get it out there, and then reset up. I was like, you guys, I guess this is bad.
You had your setup already done. Because that transition time sometimes is not even 30 minutes is a good, because you don't normally get that long.
No.
So that's cool.
No, this is bad. I got lots of them. Travel Bay. I got so many stories I could tell you about weddings.
So I was at I did a wedding once. Well, actually, I wasn't the coordinator. I was just, I did some of her flowers. So I dropped off to her flowers, and I was talking to the coordinator, and I was like, where's your caterer? Like, the wedding's in about like 30 minutes. I haven't seen anyone setting up anything in the other room for food. And she was like, I don't know. So I reminded her again, like it was like 15 minutes before. I was like, you may want to reach out to your caterer. This seems a little weird. Mm-hmm. So we leave because this is not my wedding. So I'm not in charge. So I leave. The bride calls me screaming and crying.
Wow.
The caterer thought the wedding was, so this was a Sunday. I don't even understand how she got this confused. She said she thought the wedding was Monday.
What?
Yes. The caterer is at home prepping for the next day. She's like, well, I already had some of the stuff done, but I thought it was tomorrow. So the bride, now why she's calling me and I dropped off flowers, but I know people, so I made a couple of calls. I went back to help this bride, and we had to get, you guys, this is a true story. I'm calling around to all the local like grocery stores saying, hey, what do you have in your, you know, a lot of the grocery stores have hot food. So yeah. I literally had to call all of these grocery stores in the area to get hot food, and had different people picking up food from different places. So by the time the wedding ended and the reception was getting started, she actually had food there. But it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And again, thank God it wasn't a wedding I was paid to be in charge of. But yeah, the caterer said, "Oh, I thought it was tomorrow." Yeah, I'm at home
and everything, just hanging out.
Just living her best life. Yeah.
I'll do one last one before I go. It's a short and sweet one. So it was another one where they just thought things like magically happened. So again, did the 3 calls ahead of time, had everything planned. The day of, I get there, I'm setting up. She tells me, yeah, we decided we want to do this, and I want you to time this song with it. I've got this, and I need this song played with it. And also, we're going to do 2 room switches. And I'm like, what? So I make it happen. I always make sure that my phone can get hooked up to the internet. I make it happen. It goes off without a hitch. Like I knew this was supposed to happen ahead of time, because I had to get the music cued. I needed to know, like, I just had to take my best guess that this is when they want the music to start. This is when I should fade it out, maybe, because you never know when the officiant wants that music playing or not, or if it's going to be sensitive or XYZ. So I make this go off without a hitch. I had to buy a ton of music for it. I did the room switches without a problem. So I'm DJing the floor, and there's this belligerently drunk person who turns out to be the best friend of the bride's mom. And she keeps coming up to me, and she wants this song. I forget what it was, but it's a song that I classify as not dance floor friendly. And so what this means is, just because a song is popular and just because people know it doesn't mean it translates well to a dance floor. And this is something I usually hash out with people ahead of time, where I say, can you give me some discretion as to the tracks I'll end up playing, because I think I know what will end up translating well to the floor. And they're like, oh yeah, no, you got this. I was like, okay, cool. Dance floor is bumping, people having a good time, but this woman keeps coming up wanting this song, and I'm like, this is just gonna kill art. We got a couple hundred people on the floor. This is a good wedding right now. And so she comes up, she pulls this card. She goes, do you know who I am? I am the best friend of the bride's mother, and I am telling you to play a song. Are you going to play it? And I said, if you would like to get the bride or the bride's mother and have them personally request it, because that trumps all, You can do that and you can come back. So I tell her back, go get the appropriate party. I'll play the check. She's like, leaves, doesn't come back. I get an email from the bride, and I think I probably still have this email saved if I can find it. Only time I've ever had this ever happen out of hundreds of weddings that I've done. The bride emails me and says, I would just like to let you know how you wrecked my wedding day. And I got tagged. I kid you not. I almost swore because I'm heated right now. I get tagged in a post. I kid you not, by the groom in a wedding suggestions form of great DJs to hire for your event. But the bride emailed me complaining that I wrecked her day, and I do some digging, and it turns out that the reason was because this mom's friend complained and made such a stink about it. The mom ended up saying something and then wanted to forward that information on.
Oh my God, that is insane.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, when you hire professionals, you hire the person that you trust to do their job. If the mom's best friend was that good at DJ, they would have hired her.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually, as a wedding planner, I've actually said that to people before. Actually, before they decided to hire me as a wedding planner, they probably knew that you couldn't handle the job. So let me do my job. It's insane. Wow. If you guys just come in, we're talking to Chris Casper, who is a wedding DJ. So are you back in the wedding? Are you back into wedding DJing now?
Not very much. I stay super busy with this. Like, I really value any time I have these days. And weddings are a lot of work because, to me, you're putting yourself in a position to help make someone's day great, or you can make this day that they've idealized since they were a kid probably go either fantastic or poorly. And if I know that I can't invest myself into it to make it go off perfectly, or I'm just not going to have the energy to do it right, I don't want to put myself in that position.
Yeah. Have you ever had a bride or groom request to come to one of your other events just to see you in action?
Yes. Yeah, I have. They've come see me DJ clubs, but I always tell them it's a different experience seeing a club DJ versus a wedding DJ. Club DJs are not having to manage the floor. They're not timing your stuff to go off. I've DJ'd festivals, I've DJ'd weddings, I've DJ'd proms and homecomings. Let me tell you, those are beasts. Like, DJing school dances are, I've had an entire high school sit on the floor because that song that goes, I got all that and I'm on. You remember that track? Is calling. What is that song? What is the song that I'm doing?
I don't know the name of it. I'm not good at songs. Well, I am, but
you gotta know this. Mo Bamba! That was the song. It was Mo Bamba.
Everybody hit Keeks with the Faith.
This whole floor sat down because I would not play Mo Bamba because there wasn't a clean edit for it. And oh man, I've had the craziest things happen in high school. And I'm not even going to say this one on stream. I'm not going to say that on stream. I've had the high school's like someday if we're ever just chilling, hanging out, I'll tell you the worst things because high schoolers are way worse than bridezillas. I can tell you that.
That's insane. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I think the Mike story is probably, I've actually, before events, I oftentimes, and I'm so good at my job, but I still get anxious. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I would dream of nightmares happening. Do you ever do that?
Oh, yeah.
And I wake up and I'm like, okay, if that happened, this is what I'll do. I just create these scenarios in my head. Okay.
Those wedding day nightmares for sure. Literal actual nightmares, yeah.
It's crazy. Well, thank you for sharing your stories. If you guys don't have Chris Faves, you can fave him. There's no need of going to his stream asking for your top dash. That's not how it's done. But thank you so much for being here. And Chris Casper has a show. You want to tell them about your show?
Sure. Yeah. On Wednesdays at 9, I do Suit It Up. It's an interview style show where I bring on up and coming streamers, influencers, people from off the platform. We learn a little bit about them, do some digging into the person that they are, and I squirm around a lot and touch my hair. And then on Fridays, I also squirm around a lot and touch my hair, and that's at 3 p.m. though, so you can catch it at night or during the day, whichever one's better for you. And on the rundown, we announce contest results, updates, new shows, and obviously the new top badges. So a lot of exciting things.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you're super busy, and I appreciate you for coming in and sharing some of your stories with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, everyone. Bye.
If you guys are just coming in, that was Chris Casper. We're talking about, so the show today was about cancel the date, wedding disasters, or weddings that didn't quite happen. So this made me think of another story that I had, you guys. So you heard the other story that I gave about the caterer thinking the wedding was the next day, right? So I had another wedding. This one is probably the worst wedding ever. So I met a wedding, and the officiant is the bride's pastor. Like, it's her pastor. She's been going to the same church. Do you have? She's been going to her pastor's church for like since she was a kid, right? Her name is Lydia. Simple name, Lydia, right? So I always talk to my brides and grooms before, when I get to know them, and I always ask things like, is there any issue with your family? Like, is there anyone that may make the wedding a little weird? Like, are the parents still married? Have they moved on and married someone else? Is there conflict with the new spouses? Different things like that, just because I kind of want to be prepared to what the family dynamics are. Because that may not seem like something that's important, but trust me, it's helped save a lot of different things. So in talking to this bride, she explains to me that her father married, her mom and her dad got divorced. The dad married her mom's ex-best friend, whose name was Linda. Follow me now. Lydia's dad and her mom got divorced because her dad cheated on her mom with her mom's best friend, whose name was Linda. Now, she tells me this just because now I know I need to keep Linda, the HE double hockey sticks, away from Lydia's mom by any means necessary, because Lydia was allowing her dad to bring his wife, because they've been, at this point, I think they had been married like maybe 12 years. So it wasn't a matter of, saying she can't come, because of course you want your dad there to walk you down the aisle. So it was all this weird tension. Where I meet with the wedding officiant the day before for the wedding rehearsal. We go over everything. Mind you, Lydia has been going to this church. This pastor baptized Lydia. They have such strong family ties. The pastor is well aware of everything because he actually married her parents, right? It's super dope. Like, I love weddings where it's personal, right? You think, oh, this is good. Well, you guys, we're at the wedding. The wedding rehearsal was a little tense because we didn't think that Linda was coming to the wedding rehearsal, but she was there. Exactly. But she was there, so we're trying to make everything good. We're at the wedding, and the pastor is about to have them exchange vows, right? And the pastor, instead of saying Lydia, says Linda. He calls the bride Linda. And I'm sitting here cringing like, you got to be kidding me. Like, she hates this woman. And her face, I'm telling you guys, she turned red. I've never seen someone's face so red. And I'm sitting here like, and he did it more than one. The first time he didn't even know it. He just kept going. I'm thinking like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe he didn't say it. Like, maybe, but he says it again. He's no longer with us. He says it again, to the point where the bride begins to, like, literally, her face is just red. Everyone's looking around like, and so at this point, I'm like, okay, everybody is just awkward. So I'm on the side, like where the bridesmaids walked out in. So I'm on the side, and I just kind of I just had to correct it. So I kind of step out, and I do this little number, and I said, Pastor, that's Lydia. And his face was like, he was an older pastor. He's embarrassed. But I'm like, I can't keep letting him call her Linda, and this is on her wedding videos and everything. So he apologizes, and he tries to make it right. But I'm telling you that after they kiss and they walk down the aisle, I'm in the back, so I always wait for my brides and grooms at the very back when they walk back down the aisle. She just burst into tears. And it was the most heartbreaking thing, because she was like, that lady has ruined my life in every way possible. And for him to call me her name on my wedding day, I was like, oh my God. It was the worst. I've never seen a bride so upset. And this, I mean, it was just horrible. And meanwhile, I left out a part. Meanwhile, Linda is sitting up there like this, all smug. I'm like, oh, like furious. The mom is upset. It was horrible. Thank God there was a good DJ, and we were able to make it better and kind of, tried to make the best of it. So she got over it. But it was just, listen, Linda, exactly. It turned out okay, but I'm telling you guys, it was a tough one. So that was probably the worst. And I'm one of those wedding planners. You've been to weddings where the wedding planner, you see her more than the bride. You're like, why is this lady all in the picture? She's all in the way. Like, lady, go sit down somewhere. I'm not that wedding. I'm the coordinator that's behind the scenes, making things happen without you seeing me. So it wasn't a move for me. I don't like to be like all in front of everyone for the wedding. So it was just one of those, I gotta make it happen. Like, Pastor, that's Lydia. Linda is over there. So thank you guys so much for being here. Someone in eggs. Amy, we can't talk about that on here. But maybe so. But thank you guys so much for being here. So if anyone is here and wants to hop in the box and tell us anything that you guys have coming up, if you guys have a quick story that you want to share, we have a few minutes to go and we can do that. You're a rare planner. I know. As a coordinator, if you're in front of the crowd, you're not doing your job. Ma'am, go to the back and make something happen. So there's a lot of things that are going on the app today. At 7 o'clock, we have, no, not at 8 o'clock, Judge Jungle. 9 o'clock, we have Mercedes. 10 o'clock, of course, you know where we are at 10 o'clock every Thursday night. Acting Out with Role Model Fresh Show. That's where we're going to be. Oh, look at Judge Jungle trying to send a flower. Yes, you guys, fave Judge Jungle. His show is at 8 o'clock. One of the most funniest shows on the app. Role Model Fresh, hilarious. So you guys make sure to tune in. And another thing I can tell you guys. So tonight at 8 p.m. it's going to be a lot of fun on the app. If you click and follow my IG, I'm going to have the schedule on my IG story. We're having the first ever Travel Bay Gift Elimination Battle Royale. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of your favorite streamers are participating, and it's going to be tons of fun. So it's going to be a good opportunity for you guys to kind of come in, fave some more people, get some more faves, and just have a good time on the app this evening. And so Dalvin's in it, Role Model's in it. There's a lot of people that were in here today that are in it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Skylight, thank you for helping with the guests today. Thank you so much, Kim Possible. Thank you, Chris Gasper, for being here. I appreciate all of you guys for taking the time out on your busy Thursday to hang out with me for a little while. So I'll see you guys next Thursday, 2 p.m. for Save Date with Travel Bay. Love you guys. Bye.